So we are doing chapter number 1, the human anatomy and physiology, and this is your second video. In the last video, we have studied up to thorax, that is ribs and sternum, and today we are starting from forelimbs. So, forelimbs consists of humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. So first one is humerus. So humerus is the bone in the upper arm and it runs from shoulder to the elbow and it articulates with the scapula at the shoulder and with the radius and ulna at the elbow, and it is the longest bone of the upper limb. It has two extremities and a shaft. So this part is this long narrow portion is the shaft. Next is radius and ulna. So first one is radius, which is showed in red. So the radius is slightly smaller than ulna. It is a long bone with shaft and two extremities. The upper extremity of the radius is small. The shaft is narrower and more rounded than below. And this lower extremity is rather square in shape. But ulna is slightly larger than this radius. It is a long bone. It has also two extremities and a shaft. This long narrow portion is the shaft. The upper extremity of ulna is strong and thick. The shaft of the ulna tapers towards the end. And the lower extremity is small because of this tapering. Next is carpal bone. So carpal, you can see this colorful portion of our hand consists of 8 bones. This is the wrist part. So in our each wrist there are 8 bones. So here you can see the shape of the carpals is irregular and the bones are arranged in 2 rows. Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like this. Now after carpal there is another part, that is metacarpals. So there are 5 metacarpal bones in each hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Each bones has a shaft, that is this long narrow part, and 2 extremities. And these bones articulates with the carpals. We know this portion is the carpal on one end, and on the other end it articulates with phalanges. So this portion is phalanges. The next part is phalanges. So this part is called phalanges. So here total 14 bones are present and each bone has a shaft and 2 extremities. Now let's see how it is making 14. See, in each finger there are 3 bones and in the thumb there are 2. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2 makes 14. Next is vertebral column. So in vertebral column there are 33 vertebral bones, and these vertebral bones are grouped and named according to the region they occupy. So in the last class only I've already explained about the number of bones present in vertebral column. So they are 7 cervical vertebra, 12 thoracic vertebra, 5 lumbar vertebra, 5 sacral vertebra, and 4 coccygeal vertebra. The interesting thing is what? The upper 24 vertebra remains separate throughout life. That is 7 plus 12 plus 5, that is cervical, thoracic and lumbar. And these are called movable vertebra. But the remaining 9, that is the sacral and coccygeal, 5 plus 4, 9, are united in the adult to form 2 bones. So, this 5 together unite and make 1, and this 4 together unite and make 1, and it makes 2. These vertebrae are called fixed vertebra. Now let's move to the next part, that is hip or pelvis. So this portion is the pelvis region. So this is the anterior view, that is the front one, and this is the posterior, means the back one. So pelvis is the lowest part of the trunk of the human body between abdomen and thighs. So the pelvis is divided into 2 parts, that is true pelvis and false pelvis. So the pelvis is divided into 2 parts. They are true pelvis and false pelvis. Now what is its function? Pelvis provides support for various muscles and ligaments during locomotion. Next, they also provide support to the abdominal viscera, means the organs present in abdomen, and they also transfer weight from the upper axial skeleton to the lower appendicular components of the skeleton. Now let's move to the next portion, that is the lower limb, or we call it hind limb. So hind limb consists of femur, patella, fibula, tibia, tarsals, metatarsal and phalanges. First one is femur, which is also called thigh bone. Not only this, it is the longest as well as strongest bone of the body. And it is the single bone of the thigh region. It accounts for approximately 1/4 of a person's total height. It's a long bone with shaft and 2 extremities. Even all the body weight is supported by femur during activities like running, jumping, walking, standing. It runs from the hip to the knee. The next part is knee joint, also called patella. This term patella is derived from Latin, means small plate. It is also known as kneecap. It is thick, flat, circular triangular bone. This picture you can see that it articulates with the femur, that is the thigh bone, and covers and protects articular surface of the knee joint, and it is attached to the tendon of the quadriceps muscles, which contracts to extend or straighten the knee. The next part is fibula, which is shown in red. So fibula, also called calf bone. This is the fibula and this one is tibia. So this fibula is long, thin and lateral bone of the lower limb that runs parallel to this tibia. What is its function? It plays a significant role in stabilizing the ankle. and supporting the muscles of lower legs. Again, it also has two extremities and one shaft. So this tibia and fibula join together at the knee at one end and with the ankle joint at the other end. The next one is tibia, which is also known as shin bone. It is the larger as well as stronger of the two lower leg bones. Now, what is its function? See, it forms the knee joint with femur and the ankle joint with fibula and tarsals. Also carries weight of the body from this femur to the feet, and it also has two extremities and one shaft. Now the next part is tarsals. So there are 7 tarsal bones, and these are short bones which collectively create tarsus. These bones are arranged in 3 rows, and these bones build the connection between the lower legs, between the tibia and fibula, and the metatarsus. So this is the tarsal which make connection between the lower leg and the metatarsus. What is its function? They support the weight of the body in standing position. Next is metatarsal bone. So there are 5 metatarsal bones, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And they are long bones with a shaft and 2 extremities. So in this picture you can see that the first metatarsal is thick and short, whereas the second metatarsal is the longest. And these bones are located between the tarsal bones of the hind and middle foot and the phalanges of the toe. So we have already read about fibula, tibia, tarsals and metatarsal. Now come to the next part, that is phalanges. The phalanges are the bones that make up the toes of the foot. 3 phalanges are present on each toe. Suppose 1, 2, 3. Here also 3. So they all contain 3 bones. But there is an exception on the large toe, which possesses only 2 phalanges. And there are 3 types of phalanges. They are proximal phalanges, middle phalanges and distal phalanges. This middle phalanges is not present in this large toe. And see, this proximal phalanges, which is green in color, shown here, is articulate with this metatarsal. And the middle phalanges are the small phalanges in the middle of the toe. That is this green one in the middle. And this distal phalanges are the toe bones that is farthest away from the body. So there are 14 phalanges in foot. Now let's read some main functions of the skeleton system. So first is protection. So the skeletal system protects the number of vital and delicate organs of our body. For example, skull, that protect our brain. Then middle ear and inner ear. Even the ribs and the sternum protects the lungs, heart and major blood vessels. So these bones reduce the risk of injuries to these delicate organs. Next function is what? It helps in movement. Bones, skeletal muscles, tendons, ligaments and joints function together for making movement. The next function is support. So we know that our skeletal system is the framework of the body. It supports the softer tissues and provides space for the attachment of skeletal muscles. The next function is production of red blood cells. So in the long bones, there is a cavity that is filled with substance called bone marrow. And in this bone marrow, new blood cells are produced and the damaged are repaired. So the red bone marrow produces red blood cell, white blood cell and platelets. Another important function is storage of minerals. So the bone tissue store various minerals such as calcium and phosphorus. Even the red bone marrow store iron. Suppose if there is a lack of calcium in the body itself takes calcium from the bone. And the bone releases minerals into the blood. In this way, bone help in making the balance of minerals in the body. Not only red, even yellow bone marrow is also there. That is found in the long bones and it store fat. So one more function, and this is the last one, that is acid-base balance. So bone help in making the acid-base balance in the body.